welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about maturing as a person and why this is important to you if you want to be happy. And I know that you're trying to pick up girls, you're trying to be more attractive, and you're trying to be more successful in dating and get what you want. This is why this is a very, very important subject for you. I am a men's personal growth teacher before I am a dating coach. Okay, this is the top layer. This is the big one. This is the core. Top layer and core is kind of like antithetical, but you get what I mean. There is no dating without personal development. Okay, so that's what I teach. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about my personal journey as well, because sometimes in these videos, I like to give you guys a life update and keeping it fucking real and honest. I think it helps me, and maybe it helps, hopefully helps you as well. If you want to work with me, grab the links down below and let's get into it. So, number one, my personal journey, life update. So, the thing that I'm going to talk to you about today pertaining my personal journey is meditation. I like to give you updates on meditation, bodybuilding, and fitness, my business journey, and my girl's journey. And today I want to talk about meditation. I could talk about like all of it, but this is gonna make the video super long. We're not trying to do that today. So let's stick with meditation. Last weekend was a crazy fucking weekend in Berlin. It was the CSD parade, which is the gay pride parade. Bro, I am telling you, it was fucking nuts. I wasn't trying to go. I was trying to work, and it's not like I like the gays either. It's like all the LGBT shit. I dislike that trash. And honestly, I was at the parade, and every time I looked around, most of the faces I saw was fucking dumb sheep. But at the same time, I gotta fucking say, hundreds of thousands of humans and not one fucking fight. Like, everybody had great vibes. It was an amazing time. Girls were hot. I talked to two super hotties, and I chose to ignore all the other girls, which was kind of nice. I'm walking with my group, like completely fucking stoic, masculine, fucking boss, leader, savage, and dominant as fuck. And I know that when I act like that, even if I don't say anything, even if I don't look at anybody so much as that, I attract looks. The way I walk slowly, the way I move through space, the way that I conduct myself, it is just enough for girls to like me. This is why girls sometimes say, oh my God, who is that guy? And like, they just saw a guy like for 30 seconds. I talked to this girl who was like a 9. She was wearing this fucking super hot dress, and she was with a guy. I approached them, I'm like, are you guys a couple? And I looked them both in the eyes equally, right? The guy's like, no. And they're like, are you interested in the guy? Because it's obviously a gay parade. I'm also wearing like super gay shit, like mesh t-shirt and like all that stuff. They're like, so no, why? Are you interested in the guy? And I'm like, no, I'm interested in you. I look the girl in the eye. So they look at each other. They nod at each other. The guy leaves. And the girl starts walking with me. And I get super awkward, bro. Like, so stupid. And I bust out this move. To go arm in arm. She sees this, she's like, no. I completely failed there. Whatever, it happens. So that's kind of how that went, but that caused me to miss 2 days of meditation consecutively. Now, I've been meditating for a couple of months now, and I keep seeing the positive benefits, and specifically, I am looking into Joe Dispenza's work. If you don't know who Joe Dispenza is, it's not that important. If you want to meditate, just sit down and just breathe for like 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever you want. If you do know who Joe Dispenza is, you probably know. If you don't know, like, let me tell you a couple of things so that you understand like what I'm looking at and how I'm playing this. Full disclosure, I don't like who I am. I don't like the life I'm living. I don't like the lack of power that I have right now. And I want to improve some things in my life. I have some dreams and aspirations, and I'm blocking myself from getting them because I'm a fucking idiot. So I want to slowly remove the idiocy and leave whatever remains, which is hopefully clarity, authenticity, happiness, joy, love, all that stuff. And meditation, I think it helps me. Joe Dispenza says that, and it's not just Joe Dispenza that says it, like thousands and millions of people say that, and especially people that have achieved the shit that I want to achieve. They say that it's not like you get the thing and then you feel happy because you got the thing. It has to be the other way around. First you feel happy, and then the thing comes to you because you felt happy. And I see truth in that, and I'm trying to practice it. So I've read this book that's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And in the last chapter of the book, they give you, or Joe Dispenza gives you the how-to instructions on the meditation part and the setting up your brain to do all these cool things, which is split into 4 weeks. The first week of training teaches you how to put your body to sleep while your mind is still awake. I'm fairly proficient at that because I've done tons of meditation in my past. I've done Vipassana retreat, hours and hours and days and years of meditation. So I know how to do that. Fairly proficient at that. The second bit is teaching you to remove the bad emotions. And then the third and fourth bit are teaching you how to visualize what you want. And I'm at the stage where I'm practicing the second bit. So every morning I go through the induction. I put my body to sleep while I'm standing or sitting upright and my mind is still awake and alert. And when that happens, then because your subconscious lives in your body, and you put your body to sleep, then you can access your subconscious. This sounds a little crazy. It's not as simple as that. And I didn't quite say it correctly, but I'm gonna leave it at that for the sake of leaving the video, not making it super long. Now, what I noticed, because of this crazy parade and the crazy weekend in Berlin, is that, and missing 2 days of meditation, is that my spirit and body are now a lot more like antsy and a lot more awake and like wild. So every morning now it takes me like today and yesterday, it took me a little longer to calm back down and it's a little harder. So I kind of regret missing 2 days of meditation. Now, I'm gonna be super anal? No, but whatever. Just wanted to say this. So this is how meditation's been going for me. But I'm back on track and I'm happy to move forward. In fact, I'm leaving for Greece in a few days, next week, or this week actually, I'm leaving for Greece. So before I leave for Greece, I want to progress to the 3rd week of training, to the 3rd bit of like starting to actually visualize stuff. I'm very curious about how the next step works. So that's one of my targets for this week. Okay, so that's as far as meditation goes, as far as my personal journey. And yeah, that's all I wanted to share for now. Now, I was having some thoughts about maturing and what that means and what I do for a living, which is I am a fucking teacher of men's personal growth. I'm gonna tell you today why this is important, how to do it, what it is, and why you should do it. Now, like I said before, I know that you're here to pick up girls. You're watching this channel because it's going to make you better at being more effective in dating, being more effective in being an attractive man, attracting the women that you like. But you got to realize that the only reason why you're doing that is because women are the middleman. What you want is to be happy. That's why you want the women, because they're going to make you happy. And fair. Fucking 100%. Like, I'm not arguing that like sitting on your couch and jerking it is worse than sitting on your couch and getting massaged by an 8.6. Okay. Or getting blown by an 8.6. I think that beats the jerking it on your own. So I'm not arguing, get the women because it's good. I've gotten the women. It was good. Now, I teach men's personal growth. Why? This is greater than dating. In fact, I teach men's personal growth through dating. Cold approach specifically is something that will help you mature. It's something that will help you, like dating and getting yourself in there, putting yourself out there is something that will help you mature and help you grow. And the more you grow, the happier you get. So, in fact, I have a client who literally just ditched his super hot girlfriend because she was not hot enough for him. And now wants to get an even hotter girlfriend. That's his goal. And unless he matures, he will find himself equally unhappy with the even hotter girlfriend when he gets her. So, maturing is necessary and you should absolutely fucking do it. Because it is the fastest way and the most efficient way to make yourself happy. Why? To examine the why, we need to see what maturing is. And maturing is collecting the wisdom as you go through life, however, with absence of ego. So as you go through life, you get information in your head, and that information is both malware and good wisdom. And the way that you go through life and you deal with whatever happens to you and your trauma and your stimuli, it changes you. It makes you somehow. And that's your ego. Maturing, hopefully, is that through the process of the hardship of like girls rejecting you and making you sad, hopefully this ego of yours gets a little softer and softer and dissolves a little bit. That's kind of like how I see it. What's ego? Ego is your personal trauma or your personal narrative. And the ego is also the filter. I got a bunch of notes here. Ego is also the filter through which you view the world. Like if you see a situation and another guy sees the same situation, it's not going to be the same for both of you. Like the experience that you're going to have is going to be different depending on what kind of lenses you're wearing that you're seeing the situation through. And this lens, that is part of your ego. Ego is everywhere. It's in this very room. Ego is, by the way, not very bad. Ego is what makes us go to the moon. Like without ego, we never go to the moon. However, also without ego, we don't need to go to the moon. So take that for what it's worth. Another aspect of ego, like if you look at ego through from different perspectives, you see ego as a different thing. So another aspect of ego is your identity, what you associate with, and it's your identification with things as well. So like this camera that I'm talking to right now, it's part of my ego. If something happens to this camera, I'm gonna be upset because it's part of me, really. Like it's my property, I've had it forever, and like it also has a relationship with me because it helps me do certain things, like putting a video out there. So I identify with this camera. So if I see another Canon M50 somewhere, I'm gonna recognize it. I'm gonna go like, oh, this is part of me, you know? Because I'm obviously filming on an M50. And it's associations, like what I literally just said. Another aspect of ego is personality and the way that you handle shit. Okay, and another aspect of ego is conceptualization and dogma. Which is, conceptualization is, if you're a baby and you see a chair, you don't really know what a chair is, but if you keep seeing chairs and how people interact with chairs, not only do you see a chair, you also perceive the concept of a chair, which is a tool that helps somebody sit. That's part of the chair, which is something you don't know when you're a baby looking at a chair for the first time. So a chair forms around it, the more you look at it through your ego, with your ego, it forms around it a concept, like a way of thinking. So all of this is your ego. And that means the older you get, the more ossified you get. And that's baggage. Okay. Now, all of that, what I said, is not necessarily bad, but it does have bad aspects. Okay. So maturation is the absence of ego. It's kind of like seeing things for what they are. So like, if another guy and you look at the same situation, if you're both really, really mature, you're gonna both look at it for what it is. If you're having a fight with somebody, you're not looking at the situation for what it is. You're looking at it through your respective own lenses. And that's why you're having a fight, because your lenses are different, but you're looking at the same thing. So there's a dissonance there, and both are trying to be right. You're both trying to persuade the other guy that your lens is the one that's actually accurate. If you were both mature enough, your lenses would be, so to speak, wide enough where you would see the same thing for what it really is. So that's what maturation is. That's what maturity is. And it's the healing of trauma, or the alleviation of trauma. And it is understanding. An understanding of yourself, first and foremost. It is disidentification, and it's control versus getting triggered. That's why maturing is important, because control is attractive to women. When a woman sees that you're in control, she gets wet. That is what we call dominance. And by the way, do not confuse this with being domineering. Domineering is not being in control. Domineering is trying to no avail to be in control. Okay, now, with all that said, how the fuck do we mature? Number one is work. It's labor. This helps you mature. This helps alleviate the ego. Like the more you work, the more you exert effort, the less important your lenses become. If you run a marathon, when you get to the finish line, you're not fucking upset. You're very real. If you just cried, bawled your eyes out for an hour at the finish line of that, you're very real. Your gaze is very fucking steady. You're very grounded. Okay, so work is not just manual physical labor. It can be emotional labor. It can also be cognitive labor. If you exert yourself, then everything else starts to fade. It's like Fight Club. Like, the more you were in Fight Club and the more you got beaten up, the more your boss yapping in your ear the next morning had the volume turned down. Number 2, meditation is another way to mature. Meditation is work too, in a way. But what it also does is it helps you increase your awareness. And not during the time that you meditate, but collectively in your life. Like, you go through life with more awareness if you meditate. Now, and also you get into flow state easier, which is the state where if you're doing something that challenges you enough and that you kind of like, everything else fades to black and you're focused. Okay. Number 3, experience is what helps you mature. So the more reps you get under your belt, the more mature you become, the more happy you become, the more attractive you become. Get it? And maturity is really stoicism. Like maturity, and that's why it's attractive to women. Maturity is looking at things for what they are, which makes you grounded, not subject to your emotions, and all of that stuff is what women fucking love in a very real way. Okay. Now, the last thing that helps you mature is consistency and focus, which are the 2 components to success. If you're consistent day after day, and while you're doing the thing, you're focused on the thing and nothing else, that helps you mature. So, why are we doing all this? Here's the benefits of maturing. Number 1, authenticity. You can look people in the eye, like I'm looking at this camera right now, like I'm looking at you right now, and leave your baggage at the door. You can communicate with people with a very steady gaze, a very grounded gaze, and be very present with them. And that's authentic. And nobody's authentic because ego usually comes through as well. So if you can drop your ego, if you can drop your baggage, your personal narrative, your personal history, what we'll see happen because of your authenticity is that people will want your energy around them like crazy, because it's very rare, without you doing much for it. You're just gonna be who you are. Like I was at the parade, I was just like, the only thing I was doing was literally walking. But I was walking in such a way, and I know it sounds crazy, especially to the uninitiated. I was walking in such a way, and the only thing I was doing is literally just walking, where you could tell I'm a dope fucking dude. I'm a real motherfucker. And it's just a vibe. It's just like, you can't explain it. You can quantify it, because if you really pay attention to the posture and body language and speed with which you propagate your physical body through physical space, you can measure these things. It's just like, even if you measure them and you just try to reproduce them as faithfully as possible, still not gonna be enough. It needs to come from inside. It needs to be authentic. So authenticity is a big one, benefit. And understanding oneself. Understanding why you feel a certain way. And of course, the more you understand about yourself, the more it resolves all the conflicts in your own mind and your own psychology. You become more streamlined and more effective in fucking life. When you're effective in life, you're attractive to women. So that's pretty much it. So that's why I teach personal growth before I teach any dating. So the dating I teach is in the context of personal growth. Like, that's what I'm interested in, and that's what you should be interested in as well. So sure, I'll teach you the strategy and the technique and what to say and like the framework and like how to text and like what to do on your first date and how to play it and how to secure the sex and how to make sure that if you want her for a relationship, she's the one that begs you for it. But this is like the little bit. The big bit is your personal growth, your personal maturity or maturation as a man. Like how to leave everything else and like focus on what matters. Now, this sounds kind of corny. What I'm trying to say is how to like drop the baggage and be zen. Like be fucking, like become what you're meant to be. Okay. So, and yeah, and cold approach is a great way to do that. A great way to get there faster. Whew. that was a hell of a video, man. I'm happy you sat through it. If you did, bro, like that's 25 minutes of me yapping, but I think it's pretty valuable shit, if I do say so myself. So, looks like you made it to the end of the video, which is pretty fucking nuts. But yeah, I feel like there was a lot of valuable info, and I got to do a nice little brain dump. So if you enjoyed it, I got more for you. We can work together if it makes sense, if you're a good fit for what I do, because not everybody is. But if you are, and you want to mature, and you want to get girls, and you want to create a dating situation that you could be fucking proud of, that makes you really happy, grab the link in the description below, and we'll chat soon. Okay, see ya.